And just as we rest together here, I mean, what's going on in the world is, in one sense, I don't think it's anything new. It's always been going on, but it's certainly becoming more apparent. And just tuning in at the moment and just feeling in your own sense of things, how you would describe the sensations at the moment when you tune into the field of humanity at the moment. And then maybe we can try just when, if anyone has a word that you'd like to use to describe, just speak it. Just unmute for a second and speak it.
Excitement.
Excitement.
Peace.
Peace.
A bit lost.
Lost.
Also a bit lost.
Mm-hmm.
Tired.
Tired, yeah.
Sad.
Sad, yeah.
The frequency of fear.
Fear.
Grief.
Grief. Heartbroken, huh? It's like, wow. I was saying today to Caitlin and Micah, it's like, wow, you know, at the moment, we live in beautiful nature. It's beautiful, but man, the field is so it's so heartbreaking, and so it's like, for me, it's just, understand how Buddha could say, you know, life is suffering. It's incredible, just what's happening in the planet, and has been, you know, I guess, in for all time. And sure, we can tune into different frequencies. And somehow, here we are, with this interest to be here, and yeah. And from the perspective that there's no separation, what's happening is a manifestation of this great intelligence. And then just so gently exploring, you know, what's playing in consciousness that's participating in what's happening. Whether it's so many subtleties, hey, that play where there's a participation. So not trying to change anything, just really getting nakedly honest, yeah, and sensing and feeling and it can be anything from just what happens in looking through the habit of a dualistic focus. if possible, in this looking, no blame, no shame, no right, no wrong, just a gentle, honest noticing. It's very easy to say, oh, it's the government's fault or it's someone else's. But even in that way of focusing, it actually is a participation, yeah? And I think, none of us has the intention to cause suffering. And yet, when we look like this, just gently here, noticing unconscious habits at play that feed into what's happening, I'm sure we can all find stuff that's where there's a participation, yeah? Was anyone that can't find it? And you will, I mean, if you can't, you can't. It's just.
Can you repeat one more time what you, the question?
Mm-hmm. Just as I was inviting to see how patterns at play in us are participating in the world being exactly the way it is. Might be subtle, it might be way more than subtle. Just an honest noticing. Can anyone not find anything? Or can some of you find some ways that participation happens? And just to see it gently, not from the place of right or wrong, but just that it comes into consciousness. Yeah? And most of the time it's automatic and unconscious. There's nobody doing it even. It's just a habit that's playing. That shows up as the system that we're all in. And happy to continue now with whoever would like attention, if anyone would like it. Any exploring anything? Did anyone, was this useful just to gently look and see? Maybe shocking in some ways, maybe heartbreaking in other ways, but
I find it really, really useful because it like keeps it out of the personal, and also makes it like more like it has value somehow.
yeah.
What we're feeling for all of us. Yeah. Thank you.
I agree, Isaac. I could see a very deep pattern actually in this system of holding it outside, going very deep right away, but holding everything outside there, and like this, holding also a huge part of the energy out of the system.
Yeah. You know, I mean, it's interesting times because, you know, historically we can look back and say, well, how in Germany could it be that people let Hitler rise to power like that? You know, I'm sure people that are German have had to look at that a lot, but also that question, you know, it's like, but we're watching the same thing happening on our watch. We're watching all kinds of stuff going on that are just, off the scale, out of tune with, and it's tricky to know how to respond to it. You know, it's just, it's so huge. It's like and I was watching, I think it's on the World Economic Forum, where they have this whole plan for world government, and I mean, just it's so detailed, and it's happening. We're watching it roll out, and it doesn't look like a life any of us would like to lead, and yet, you know, somehow we are going that way, and we are participating. So it's not about, you know, it's not about shouting and screaming and pointing fingers, but it's about becoming gently more conscious and more present and honest with ourselves, I guess.
Yeah, I'm very happy that you are saying this, Isaac, because I could see in the recent meetings when you were going what I would call politically, how the system was doing this, and got very activated, and something like aggression sometimes coming up. And now in this exploration just before, in not labeling it, just really seeing what is happening, I can see that it's somehow it was more easy to explore it.
Yeah.
And to welcome all the sensations without labeling it, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you.
Yeah.
I mute again.
Okay, yeah, but beautiful, yeah. You know, it's like I think most of you have been following the news in America. America, there's riots. I mean, it's really amping up, you know. And then there's people that are just non-violently saying, "Look, we need an end to racism." But then there's also people that are using the protests to come in with guns and breaking and looting and doing all kinds of stuff that, yeah, it's yeah, very interesting to surf this together and be present to it, and not just look for peace in ourselves, but just also keep inquiring deeper, yeah. And if anyone wants to speak, you're welcome.
Yes, Isaac. Hi,
Hi,
Isaac.
Sylvie.
Hi. Isaac, do you have any feeling that we can overcome this as a species? Is there any feeling or any trust or?
I have no idea. I really don't. I mean, it's my sense is that what we have is this moment. And, you know, it's like, it's nice to have an idea that it's going to be moving in a beautiful way if we do something, but really all we have is this moment. And there's there's the space that everything appears in right here and now, which is, yeah, untouched. And then there's, you could say, the unconscious patterns that are playing that literally nobody is doing. It's just like, it's just, you know, it's, but by the virtue of the fact that they're automatic and they're unconscious. And you know, as long as they're playing, it shows up like this. So whether or not, I don't know if it's a useful question. I just know that moment by moment by moment, here we are. You know, in a way, it's like this thing of, I think we all recognize that the direction that humans are moving in in a way is it's a nightmare.
Yes, I've seen some really horrible things also on YouTube. There's literally war on the streets in America, and
Mm-hmm.
Chinese who got killed on the streets. Literally, they've been shot.
But you know, exactly, and in some sense, this is nothing compared to where it can go. It's like we're in some really strange times.
Yeah.
It's like, so here we are. And so this is I don't know, you know, it's like we can get freaked out and scared, and but we can also, you know, take the opportunity here just getting so honest with ourselves, so honest with just all the subtle participation, everything that's going down, yeah? You know, and it's kind of curious in a way when, like, you know, I'm not sure how long ago we were in tribes, yeah? That when we were tribal, my sense was there was a way of being aware of all the people in the tribe and some level of taking care of each other. But now we live in cities, we don't know our neighbors a lot of times. There's a lot of people on the streets, and just to walk past them is heartbreaking. And how do you even manage that, you know? And then, you know, we get, you know, before we would know what was happening in our little tribe, but now we know what's happening in the global tribe, and it's, wow, it's a lot.
Yeah.
And there's a way, as long as, you know, somehow we're okay, then, yeah, it's like, and it's not wrong and it's not bad. But somehow it seems like something is inviting us to wake up and see deeper and get more honest and more vulnerable and more real. But in a, in a gentle way, not as a means of punishing ourselves or anything, just gently exploring.
I will unmute myself. There's people who want to speak.
Okay.
Matthias would like to speak.
Okay. I have to find Matthias. I don't see him yet.
Matthias, yeah.
Oh, there you are. I see you now.
So, hello, can you hear me?
Matthias, I hear you. Can you see me?
Yeah, I think it's quite a miracle. You're in Australia, I'm in Amsterdam. Yes. I was just in bed with my teddy, and then I saw it's already 20 minutes past 11. And now I see you must have talked a lot. Yes. I don't know what to say.
There's not so much.
Well, it's fine. I leave the space to others.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, Matthias. Thank you.
Monica would like to speak.
Hi.
Okay, I see you. Can you see me?
Yes. For me, it's a little bit different. I don't know why. Yesterday, I have participated on an online conference with, was heißt unter anderem, Greg Braden and Bruce Lipton and others. And it was had been very positive, and Greg Brennan told us that the scientists find out that the nature is not built up at competition, but cooperation. And Bruce Lipton brought a little bit, was heißt, in comparison with a caterpillar. A caterpillar is very eating the whole leaves, you know, and destroy everything. And then it goes in a cocoon, and then it comes out as a beautiful butterfly. And Bruce Lipton said that's the process at the moment. We are in the cocoon. We have no idea what will happen and so on. And yes, that was for me a very good image. And this morning I participated also on an online conference, and I feel this connecting with others, this positive connecting perhaps makes an impact, you know? And they also support very much projects to help the world, like to live with nature or to build schools or to give food and so on. And so at the moment there is peace. In my system, I can feel in the energy system pain in the heart or in the belly, but there's peace.
Beautiful, yeah.
And sometimes it's pending. Where should I go? Should I go to the peace? Should I go to the be in peace and radiate it and do what I can? Or should I stand up and fight against, you know? Sometimes it's a little bit go from this side to this side, and I have the feeling perhaps it's not enough to be conscious, you know? But at the moment it's peace. There's a part who's thinking and unconditioned tendency also, perhaps I'm false when I said at the moment is peace, you know.
Yeah. It's interesting trying to speak about this because yeah, there's absolute silence and then there's sounds appearing in the silence. Yeah? There's nothing and there's everything appearing in the nothing. So there's peace, and then there's this not knowing how to respond. There's wanting to live a life that's in tune, that's in teamwork with nature, with life. And then there's the way we actually live, which is not that at all.
Yes, and I'm so grateful that we can connect in this kind. I think in Nazi Deutschland, Nazi Germany, you couldn't connect about the internet. You couldn't connect. It was very dangerous to connect in any way.
Anyway, yeah.
You have not got no money, but or wearing mask, but you put in jail or was killed, had been killed. You know? And I'm so grateful that we can connect.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that this connection, this great consciousness connection of love and peace and being one will bring us through these times. I hope it.
If you'd like to explore and just feel into the identity that forms with that identification with that idea.
You mean I should explore the identification? Would moment. Can you repeat it, please?
Yeah. You know, the moment there's a movement into hope,
Okay.
then
I'm out.
We have a picture. Yeah, we have a picture of how we would like it to be, and then that picture feeds back that we're a nice person because we have that picture, and you know, there's many dimensions to it. It's just that, but it takes us away from this moment.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. No problem. Just to see there's so many mechanisms that play like that.
Yes.
And then just what does that do in us, and then in the field? And once we in hope, do we have any possibility to really meet each other?
Yeah, but I not understand. I'm not an non-dualic consciousness, perhaps. But I understand when I go in the future in a negative way, or I go in the future in a positive way, it doesn't matter. It's right. It doesn't matter. I have to be here. Okay.
Yes? Not even I have to be. It's the exploration of that movement. Because the moment then it moves into I have to be here again, that's violence.
Sorry, Isaac, I cannot say it.
No, but you understand. I mean, this is what we're all dealing with. We're dealing with these movements that we're very used to,
okay.
and it's nothing wrong, or it's not trying to do it perfectly. There's just a willingness to keep learning and keep looking and keep seeing. You know, it's like it's really not from the place of right and wrong or good or bad. Somehow life is appearing at the moment like it is, and there's a way of going, no, I'm not participating in that. because I'm a good person and I only wish well for everybody, but not really seeing where there is a participation.
Mm.
Do you know? You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I understand that at a conscious level, we really would love this to be a beautiful world for everybody.
Yeah, but that brings out of the moment, or what? You know. Yes. Yes. Oh, not so easy. Mm. Mm. So what is then to do to notice the unconditioned tendencies and so and the Muster, was heißt Muster, patterns?
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah.
See, again, it's like, in a way, I can see there's that movement that wants to have something it can hang on to.
Mm.
You know, it wants to you know, give me one sentence, one simple sentence that I can organize. But it's somehow, you know, it's like this inquiry. This naked, honest noticing. Without, you know, it's like it's so easy to go into right and wrong and good and bad and guilt and everything. Yeah.
Mm.
But I find that it's just the noticing of the movements and just, okay, wow. What are the subtleties, moment by moment, that dream us into being the way it is, yeah?
It's so fast. It's so fast. It happens so fast, you know. It's whoosh.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
And then I fall asleep. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand. Yeah. Thanks, Monica.
Thank you, Isaac.
Thank you.
Hey, Isaac.
It was Miriam's.
Yes, but she said she didn't
Okay.
want now.
Okay, sorry.
She wants now. Do you want to
It's
go now?
totally okay. Esther, you can go.
Okay.
I sorted this out. Yeah, thanks,
Okay.
Marija, for helping, but it's okay.
Okay. I have to find Isaac back.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay, great.
You're a little bit small down the screen.
And I come closer to that.
Yes.
Was better?
Yes, that's better. Yeah, I feel some movements in body where I still have something like, that's not what you allowed to meet. And then it pulls my attention to that instead of meeting you.
Beautiful to see you.
And I notice more and more the trembling in my system. Probably it's
beautiful.
more, actually it's calming down, so I'm more aware of it.
Yeah.
So, and I'm checking now last days when it's enough for my system in a way. And
One more time, that last sentence, I didn't hear.
that I checking when it's enough for my system, too much.
Yeah.
Not too much. And where I forced to stay. So
Yeah.
I think now it's for my system enough. Although I would love to sit longer with you, but now I'm learning to do
Oh,
space.
so
Yeah. I don't know if that's
so
the right word, but
yeah. Yeah, beautiful.
so thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Oh, what happened there? There it is.
Hey,
Thanks,
Isaac.
sister. Yeah. Who's that?
I'm here.
Champa. Okay. I see you.
I see you.
Hi.
Bye.
Yeah.
Well, when you ask the question, what is it playing in us? that what immediately came up was this deep-rooted wanting to be safe
Yeah.
that holds up the idea of others, that actually holds up everything which separates.
Yeah. So beautiful to see deeper and deeper layers of that, eh?
Yeah.
Gently seeing it honestly, and just okay. It didn't know any better till now, but it's starting to wake up. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Strangely, it was like, yeah, insecurity, of course, coming into the system, all kinds of feelings in the solar plexus, and this one. And at the same time, I don't know if this is possible, at the same time, an opening of the vagus system, like the possibility to be connected
Fantastic.
with
Yeah.
this insecurity. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Profound.
A shaky,
Mm.
shaky connection, but yeah, to
Yeah.
be felt. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what also came into my mind was we Germans after the Second World War, we retreated into family,
Mm.
and the outcome was horrible.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so much trauma in the human field. It's just incredible. And slowly, slowly, we're finding a way to come back into presence with that. Yeah. So beautiful, just allowing these different possibilities to start to open up and inform us. And yeah.
I just wanted to ask you this in that moment. Okay.
Mm. Shanta. Yeah. Mm.
Hi, Isaac.
Hi, Britt. I see you.
See you too. I always love when you talk about gentleness, to meet every experience with gentleness. It's just, yeah, and then there cannot be any separation if there is gentleness.
Yeah. Mm.
Beautiful to hang out with you.
Thank you. You too. Okay, good. Mm.
Hey, Isaac.
Aversia,
Yes,
do you see me?
yes,
Great.
I feel you also. So the key is meeting every moment as the beloved. Yes.
Mm.
And to be honest, I had more discussions than ever with my beloved.
Mm.
So, but I feel it globally also, this excitement and that.
Mm.
And it's a good reminder, yes, to meet every moment. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Oh.
So for me, nature and silence really helps.
Mm.
And then music.
Mm.
And again, stop. Yeah, just for some moments. No, no.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm.
Mm.
Hi, Isaac. Hi, everyone. It's me, Andrea.
Yeah, hi. I see you. Hello.
Hello. My being just so lost to meet like this.
Mm.
Yeah. Thank you, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
I take over.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I just felt to share that I visited my sister and my son, and there's so much happening in my system, and I'm amazed. I didn't really get how it came, how yeah, just I was really amazed how strong it stays since 1.5 days in my system. These meetings.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like all of us are getting more subtle and more fine and noticing deeper and seeing more. Yeah.
Yeah, especially with my son, I had the feeling he's not so happy in the moment somehow, and also a bit closing up, and yeah, just keeps me busy somehow. I don't know.
Yeah. So just as a touch, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just resting with that touch, nothing to fix or solve. Or, you're sensing something going on in him. And if there was any way that you could assist, you would. But it's painful to see, and feel. Yeah.
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 Wow.
See, one of the things I notice is that when we sense something like that in someone that we really closely connected to, a movement can come up of wanting something to be different for them so that we can feel okay.
Exactly.
And I think it's a very well-known pathway in people. I mean, I certainly know it in myself, but it's also not. How can I say it? It's entangled. It's not clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a tendency to try to help or to, but then it's entangled. It's I don't know.
Yeah. And it's just that's the opportunity, is seeing that entanglement, seeing the good intentions, seeing where there's some way of participating in it that keeps it going. And it's like that wanting to fix it keeps it going. Wanting him to be different keeps it going. I mean, there's all these different subtleties, and not so subtle, but yeah. And again, no bad intention, only good intention. But the good intention often hides what's actually going on in it.
And he has to make his experiences. And
you see, but even this can be a way of cutting off from the discomfort. It's like it's a way of trying to take distance.
Yeah.
And not to be.
Yeah. Also.
So,
get it off the screen.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Yatrin. I mean, wow. Here we are, hey? All these subtleties and ways in which consciousness functions that we never noticed up to now, yeah. So true. I'll be back in one moment. Oops.
Hi, Isaac.
Who's that?
I think I'm next. Leilani.
Hi. Hey,
Hi.
Leilani.
I related very much to that last conversation. I think anyone with children. Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful to sit together, Beloved.
Beautiful and gentle, loving presence.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Pascal would like to speak.
Time?
Pascal.
Who?
Me.
Ah, Pascal. Hi.
Hey.
Do you see me?
I do.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I mean, like looking at like what's happening in the States and like how it kind of how it like resonates or something within me. It's like this there's this like almost like a despair, like kind of a, or like you said, like this kind of heartbreak.
I think that's going on worldwide at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the kind of like, because it's like just, you know, kind of in like individual events, but they're not isolated or something. They're like showing or kind of making apparent like the kind of system that we live in, and the kind of like the oppression and violence and that it's, and the, like the power structures and so on that it's kind of built on, or and then there's like a kind of a wanting to move away from that, like somehow on the one hand just like feeling it, but then like also like starting to feel like kind of like an overwhelm in a sense, and wanting to move away from it and kind of suppress it, and like not, because it's also kind of feels like this is threatening my peace, you know. Like and then it like it brings in all these different like layers of like also like this arrogance of feeling like, you know, but I'm good, you know, like I'm different, and and so like I don't have to feel this, or like I don't know, somehow and then but seeing also like this privilege that I have is, it's also kind of built on this whole system. It's like there's no easy way out, you know, like I can't.
This is what I'm was talking about at the beginning, you know, just this. It's like somehow we all, it's participating through us. Not that we're doing it, but this is coming up in consciousness. And like you can see, that there is no way out. But it's not only that it threatens that peace, it actually threatens our existence. Because the same consciousness that's erupting, my sense is by the end of this is going to be all around the world. There's going to be this dynamic confrontation going on. Who knows if that's accurate? I don't know, but it looks very much like that's the direction that it's being, you know, taking away more and more freedoms until people can't anymore. They just can't. They just explode. It's enough. And then
in a sense there's like also some kind of like with the kind of the resistance and the looting and so on going on, there's also a sense of like in some way I can feel the kind of the release of tension in that as well. Like I understand like how, of course, like if you feel like oppressed and violated like all the time and so on, like at some point this is gonna, you know, this has got to come up, you know, it's gonna, and there's a there's some kind of a release in that as well that feels like that there's something right to it in my experience, in my sense, you know, to it as well. It's like, yes, of course.
This is where there's, I mean, you speak really beautifully, because it's like acknowledging each piece, but at the same time, there's a way, there's a knowing of another possibility. And that's the fine discernment that's being called forth at this time, as far as I can see.
Yeah. And
it's like
to me it's like somehow so
because it's an organization in consciousness, and if it's met by the same frequency, nothing really changes. It just kind of you know, it's
and somehow also like kind of a main or like a major question that it brings up in me is like how I mean, how to integrate this sense of like somehow deep peace, you know, or where it feels like in some moment like there's like just a sense of this or feeling or being in tune with this like perfection in each moment. But then you know, how to integrate this with this apparent like showing up of like this like systems of injustice and oppression and so on, like it doesn't integrate. I can't, like, you know, it's like neither my mind nor my heart nor any like can kind of contain or bring together. It's like, you know, how is it possible that these are both seem true, but it's, for my mind, it's like it can't be that both are true at the same time.
Yeah, you know, there's a story of this very deep Tibetan Lama who was imprisoned by the Chinese and tortured for many, many, many years. And eventually he came out, and someone was interviewing him and asked him, were you ever in real danger? And he said, yes, there were a few moments where I nearly lost my peace.
Yeah. This level of peace I'd like to have.
Yeah, for most of us, you know, our training is on a daily basis. We completely activated. And slowly we're learning, you know, how to surf, be present to deeper and deeper aspects of consciousness.
Yeah, because then it becomes like like I noticed this kind of aversion in myself to be pulled into or pulled out of my peace, in a sense.
I mean, to me, this is the same thing that I'm watching right now. I mean, I think our days of traveling, as we knew it before, are gone. That is not going to happen anymore. In one way, it's a good thing in terms of air pollution and stuff like that. But it's okay. Well, that was an incredible, like amazing that we could just travel anywhere we wanted to relatively cheaply and do all that stuff, and but even more than that, just being able to go around and around where we live and jump in the car and now there's all these movements to want to make this lockdown pretty much a a permanent kind of thing. But it's being done very sneakily. And I watch how it's being done, and how, like in India, for example, they wanted everybody to be tracked, and the Indians said, no way. But then they said, well, then you can't get into your bank accounts. We've done away with money, so there's no money on the streets anymore. You have to use your phone, and you can't unless you have this tracking device. Otherwise, so now, they managed to get the numbers that they wanted of this app. It's crazy the lengths that have been gone to, and people don't see it, and you think they'd never get people to go along with it. But, so now we're in this thing. I was watching this earlier. They've got this, these tracking apps, and anytime you update your phone these days, you get these apps that are just on there. You don't even know they're there. They just included in the latest update, and so they can supposedly trace where you are and when you come into contact with anyone that's had the virus. And this one woman that has been trained to be a tracer was saying what the program's about. It's like, if you go to work and you sit in a bus and someone on the bus has the virus, then you have to be in isolation for 14 days. And then you come out, and then if you're in a bus again with someone, it's another 14 days. I mean, it's like, it's cuckoo, but they're training people for that job. And I go, my God. And, it's like this whole thing that unless you get a vaccination, then you can move around, then you don't have to have that. But this app of tracking, and then together with, it's unreal what's coming down, and watching how people in this wanting to be safe some are willing to go with it. In fact, like many, many, many people that I would have thought, wow, they can see what's going on. They would never. But yet I watch it all around me every day. It's like, wow. How fast it's moving, and how much people are giving away. Yes, okay, cool. I just want to be safe. Just give me that app. I'll stay 2 meters distant from everybody. Do all these crazy shit that most doctors say,
yeah, and it's twisted, because then it easily gets like, like if you're not using the app, then you're not being like
responsible citizen, and you're not taking care of other people.
Yeah, you're not like your solidarity is not, you have to do it if you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just also what you mentioned before, with like even just like seeing, you know, like living in a city and like dealing with like having to deal with people on the street, you know, being homeless and so on, like it's like it's on so many levels somehow, but like how to kind of cope with, if, or just be with, you know, like this kind of, if you really let it touch you, it's like this heartbreak, you know, like how to, and I've had like this experience of,
Yeah, you know, that thing of some people are privileged, and so the only way to kind of justify that privilege or something is to just shut out a lot of what's going on. So it's really, that's been the, in a certain sense, the orientation of how consciousness has been, invited through a certain aspect of itself. And how easy it is to go along with that without recognizing it. It's just like, you know, people are stressed, and so there's no time for inquiry. There's no time to really look at what's going on. There's just a running to try and survive.
And it's uncomfortable, you know, also like I've had this where I was in Israel a few years ago, and there were like in the Gaza Strip like some violent outbreaks of violence and so on, and it was like the Israeli military would push back and kill people and so on. And I was in Jerusalem, and I was in this like in the Jerusalem Museum or something, very air conditioned and, you know, kind of serene atmosphere and so on. And it just felt like I was in this bubble, you know, like in this very kind of comfortable bubble, safe. I feel completely safe and so on. But at the same time, I knew like Gaza is like 50 kilometers away from Israel, from Jerusalem, you know.
And women and children are being bombed.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like in this moment, and then I was like, well, but this is like actually the condition that I live in each day. It's just that I'm not aware of it, you know. Usually I think, oh, this isn't, I'm in Europe and maybe somewhere in other parts of the world, you know, there's like people being violated, but not even this is true, you know, like it's all kind of a fantasy, like making believe that I'm somehow in a nice world or something, but and like an attempt to not let the reality touch me and feel this heartbreak and despair, you know, that it causes.
Yeah. So that's the balance. It's like how to let it touch us without getting overwhelmed by it, without getting crazy. And like really, it's such a fine dance. And staying in the inquiry and staying in the inquiry again and again. It just, wow. It's a trip.
Isaac, can I ask something?
Yes, you can.
Do you know in this tracking system how it works if you doesn't have a phone?
Yeah, well, that's. I mean, it's, you know, either you don't turn it on all the time, or you turn off. I think you can turn off. Where it's your Bluetooth. I'm not sure. I'm not an expert on that, but there's ways of turning things off so that you can have your phone with you, because these days, you know, a lot of people do all their banking, everything from their phones. So it's like,
Yeah, but I don't have a phone. I'm the only one in the world.
No, I don't think you're the only one. There's lots of people. I have a phone, but I very rarely carry it with me. but it's it's a useful device. It's has a lot of advantages, but like you say, but it is this funny. Our technological capacity at this point is huge, and it's being used in a way that is in the direction of complete control.
Mm-hmm.
And so a few people not participating doesn't really bother that mindset. But, yeah, it's moving very fast in a very funny direction. And I'm not sure if there's anything, maybe enough people saying no might do something, but there's a lot of, there's such a divide in how it's being played that anybody that says no is marginalized, you're a conspiracy theorist, or you're crazy, or, just, so it's an amazing movement that's going on the planet at the moment. My God, I'm in awe in a certain way, and I'm also at the same time, wow, man.
It feels like you're in a movie at the moment.
Yeah.
Yes.
A nightmare.
Yeah.
But in a way, and it's funny, I was watching another video. I highly recommend him. This guy is Zach Bush. He's a doctor
yeah.
and a farmer.
Oh,
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And he was talking about like the rates of autism, how they've skyrocketed in the last 50 years. I mean, it's unbelievable when you see these graphs, and these are from actual figures, and the amount of diabetes, the amount of cancer, the amount of Alzheimer's, the amount of all these things, how much of just, the graph is like this. It's like, and kids too. I mean, it's just incredible. And I'm not that far into it yet. I want to watch the rest because I know he's got a very positive, when I say he's got a very broad outlook, and he's not just doom and gloom. He's mentioning the figures for what's there, but he's also has an idea of how to surf in it in a way that's grounded. And anyway, here we are.
I was going in a very mellow place. We went to Kamperduin. We are in Kamperduin right now, and in Harger Beach, and on the Colorado camping. Me and my friend in the camper, and some others here on the camping. It's very nice to be here. Yeah, and then to see you. I'm alone watching you. They are not really into it, but it's really nice to feel the connection in the quiet, mellow place. To be with people and have some distance in a way. It's on the rule description, but yeah. Yeah. And Harger is a quiet beach. If you have been there, so it's next to Kamperduin, maybe 500 meters.
Oh, maybe I have been.
Yeah, it's quiet there.
And
yesterday, we were so lucky that we could, at the takeaway, got some real coffee and potatoes. to eat it and in the way like a supermarket, but anyway, we could take it. And the terrace is already making the chairs for tomorrow, so we have to make a little celebration on distance. I don't know how, but we will experience it. And the nature is really healing. Nice that I hear Mirjam saying she was in Bergen with Ilona. I thought, oh yeah, it's funny, we are close by. There was a nice energy here. Very easy, Dutch, nothing to worry about, no corona. Even, yeah, people walk 3 by 3, that's what I could see, or two or three. So it's very easy, you know. It was like, okay, that is also a way to deal with it. Awareness. I felt awareness and care was his care, but also in Amsterdam, in my area, I feel people are aware, taking care. That's also how it is announced now in Holland. No guards anymore to give bills. Just awareness that you have a responsibility. It's such a good way to bring it up like that. Then it's all in the moment, because you have to notice how the progress will go instead of fighting in all this. But anyway, we are in the nature, and the nature is telling the rules in a way, and the meditation and the peaceful vibe. And I feel quite mellow. It's like, oh, back in.
Quite a lively evening, and yeah, held in love. So, yeah, thank you, everybody. Yeah, ciao.